Well, welcome back to Meat Market Minutes. I'm Justin Benavidez, and we got a group of ag economists from around the Southeast, and we're talking about different things going on in the meat market during the month of May and June. And so what we're going to have on this episode is we're going to have Dr. Charley Martinez from University of Tennessee talk to us a bit about what's happening in the poultry market. So Charley, I'll go ahead and toss it your way.
Thanks, JB. So to lead off, I wanted to make a caveat to my presentation. Jordan Shockley is a pretty well-known poultry economist, and so for this Meat Market Minute, this is the non-Jordan Shockley version. So when Jordan watches this, hopefully he's not too disappointed in how I spin things. But so, you know, if you think about where we were on the last poultry video that Jordan actually did, you know, things were kind of up in the air, but the production side of the chicken industry was starting to change a little bit, and their production was starting to slow down. So I figured that'd be a good spot to start with in terms of broiler slaughter. And as you can see, when we talked, we were kind of trending downwards, and we kind of found a bottom right there. And so since then, though, they started picking back up, and they've starting to level off a little bit. We're still up compared to 2019. And we're still above the average between 2014 and 2018. And so for right now, it seems like the poultry industry is starting to figure out where their supply, figure out what their production is needed in order to figure out the new era that they're in because of the COVID-19. And so we start looking at different prices, and Jordan kind of mentioned it the last video about the chicken wing prices. And as you can see there, at almost the bottom of this chart, the prices almost didn't fit in there because we were so low. But since then, it's rallied big time and kind of gone above the average for 2014 to 2018, but we're still below the 2019 prices that we were seeing. And so it's starting to dip down a little bit. And as we get more restaurants online and we start opening up, each state's opening up little by little, and so we have more restaurants opening up, and with summer coming around, it's maybe we'll start seeing a little bit more demand for the chicken, for the chicken wing. So who knows what prices we can do. But for now, it's obviously rallied back up from where it was the last month in our last video. But we'll see kind of where it's headed. Maybe it's still going to depend upon the production level of the poultry industry. As we get into the next cut, again, we start seeing a drastic spike in prices, and that's probably due to the reduction of supply at the previous supply. And for this one, we've actually shot above the average for the 2014 and 28 for the average between 2014 and 2018, and well above 2019 prices. And it's kind of interesting if we start thinking about how high could it have gone. Obviously, I think with grilling season coming, demand coming on, the prices and the demand for it started helping out the prices for the wholesalers and also at the retail side. As we start getting into the wholesale chicken leg prices, same story here. We got a recovery in price from the downward trend that was happening when COVID-19 hit, and we're on par with what 2019 was in terms of prices. For the chicken legs. Me personally, I did some chicken legs earlier last week, and we didn't pay very much for them, but they were good, and so we bought more. So prices were low at the retail side for us. I went ahead and bought some more. We'll knock some of those out next week. As we move over to chicks place, and so we start thinking about more of what's down the line and what kind of production can we expect. As you can see, we had a drastic trend down and a drastic bottom right there in the middle of April, and as you can see, we started picking back up again in May for the broiler chicks being placed. And so moving forward, production obviously is starting to pick up. We're on par with the average between 2014 to 2018, but we're still well below 2019. And so production wise, we're starting to ramp back up. And that has to do probably with also the fact that the poultry industry itself is vertically integrated. And if you listen to another video that Dr. Griffith said, they got a little bit more skin in the game, so they're able to react better to these kind of situations, especially the pandemic. So moving down, thinking about what's happening down the line, our production side looks like it's going to be picking back up, and so that can help wholesale prices kind of come back down a little bit as we increase supply. And so maybe that'll help prices on the retail side if it gets passed through for us as consumers. And then I pulled up the weekly egg price difference because the last video, that was for me personally, that was one of the coolest things to hear about Dr. Shockley talking about, was how drastic and how big of a price swing there was in the egg prices. And he did a good job describing as to why we saw some of those price differences, some of the elements that occur between the wholesale side and also the retail and then the service industry, and how they all interact with each other. And so, but since then, the price difference has come back down. We're still about 50 cents per pound, or 50 cents per dozen higher. But it's coming down. And so maybe for the moms and the people that are using eggs, and then Dr. Anderson, the one that likes to bake stuff, maybe our egg prices are coming down, so you can be buying cheaper eggs moving forward, as they've adjusted, and as the service industry comes back online, egg price seems to be trending downward. With that, I'll stop sharing my screen. Pass it back to you, JB.
Great. Does anybody have any questions for Charley Chicken Martinez?
I've got a question or a comment. Throw it open to our group as well. One of the things I've noticed in my grocery store, I think I see more ground chicken right there with the ground turkey and the ground beef in that section of the meat case. You've got all those ground meats together. Boy, when I look at prices, the ground chicken's about half the price of the ground beef. And that looks like to me is, something we think about the future competitive position between those meats. Boy, chicken looks, one of the things in this coming through all the coronavirus stuff, it looks like they might be much better positioned in terms of competitive position price-wise at the grocery store. What do you guys think?
I think you're correct. Especially, as people, the income has decreased, or if they're out of a job, or they don't want to go buy the expensive protein. I think that's providing opportunity for the poultry industry to try to capitalize and capture some demand. I think you're correct.
Does this kind of, I don't know when ground turkey really hit the shelves, but might be looking at another opportunity to follow that template where it eats up some market share. But do you think once ground beef prices go back down to the $4 a pound level do you think people will stick with chicken? Or, because I just think about hamburger helper, right? Like, I think about a lot of people have an easy meal there with that kind of stuff. Ground beef is easy to prepare. There's already a lot of product that goes with ground beef. I don't know how much that sticks.
Those 1 pound chubs of ground, beef, chicken, or turkey, you would think in a hamburger helper type thing, or some of the wide variety of stuff that we make with ground beef that makes, that it's so versatile for all of us consumers. You would think that a ground chicken or ground turkey might fit in that as well, and it'll come down to personal preference. It would seem like it. But boy, recession, high unemployment, boy, it sure strikes me that looks like a pretty competitively priced product at the retail beef case. And retail meat case, I saw something else too that I have not seen very much, but more ground pork. We think of sausage being ground pork, but sausage has, everybody's recipe, but this was just, straight ground pork. Now, it wasn't over there in with the ground beef next to it like the chicken and turkey were. It was over in with the rest of the pork in our meat case. But I just think that's pretty interesting. The kind of the ground meat complex is expanding in this as we see this evolution at the stores over the last few months. And both of I thought the ground chicken that was pretty darn inexpensive compared to the beef.
Yeah, no, I didn't look at the ground side of things, but I did look at the national retail report for last week, and coming off Memorial Day, the featuring of poultry and the featuring rate has decreased because what they feel like is that there's no need because the demand's already there for the poultry product right now. And so that's going to be interesting moving forward if there's a change in demand or change in preference. And I think you're also correct, though, in terms of it's going to it could depend upon the income of the consumer.
Great. Well, if there are no other questions, does anyone have anything else for Charley? Good deal. Well,
Gallo Martinez.
Gallo Martinez. We appreciate everyone joining us for this episode of Meat Market Minutes, and we'll hope you'll catch our other episodes. Thank you for joining us.